everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the live. We got an interesting one for you today. This one is actually a request from a customer of ours looking for permitting in Maurice, Louisiana. So we're going to talk about planning an accessory building in this area. So thank you so much for your request. You know who you are. Oh wait, what was his name again? Mr. Wayne Frazier. Thank you so much, Mr. Wayne, for the request, and you have inspired today's live. So keep in mind, everybody, if you have any questions, we always say, please be sure to drop them in the comments, and we'll be sure to have a segment on your questions to answer them. So moving along, as always, give me one moment. I clicked a button and it was the wrong button. There we go. As always, $500 off your Mallett building if you are a healthcare worker, first responder, military personnel, or a teacher and or educator. We just want to say thank you for what you do. You serve our community, and this is just a little bit of a way we can give back to you and say we appreciate what you do. Now, speaking of money off, if you comment cash on a video like this, you can get $1,000 off your elite or signature building. Now, this does not apply to specials or promotional prices, only original prices. And keep in mind, if you're one of these categories and you also comment cash, that's $1,500 off your building, because those two things can stack and get you even better of a deal. Happy Tuesday, Mr. Tim. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. So again, cash for $1,000 off your elite or signature building. How cool is that? So where's Mallett? This week we have about 87 jobs going on as of yesterday morning. Even more are probably happening even now. But look how cool this color-coded map is. We have things from gutters, forms, materials to be delivered, inspections, materials that are on the ground waiting to be built, concrete, finishes, control joints, electrical, and plumbing, all over from Texas all through Louisiana and to Mississippi. We've got 69 jobs in Louisiana, 16 in Texas, and 2 in Mississippi, totaling 87 jobs. I'm not a math wizard, but I'm pretty sure that adds up. So in Louisiana, again, 69 jobs all throughout the state, from Breaux Bridge to Rayne, Rodessa, Manny, Keithville, Greensboro, Thibodaux, Vinton, Addis. The list goes on and on. Look at all these jobs. How cool is that? In Texas, we don't have as many, but we still got a few going on. We got 16 from San Leon to Waller, China, Valvelec. Again, the list goes on. Mallett is all over the map. So November specials and promotions. This means I need to switch sides. We have the deal on the classics for you this month, and only in the month of November. So make sure if you're planning on getting a building with a gable extension, this might be the month to consider doing so. Because for $33,999, you can get a 30 by 30 by 12 with a 30 by 20 gable extension. Now, what does this all come with? Everything the classic comes with. What's that, you ask? Let's go over that. So that's going to be 26 gauge metal standard across the board on all Mallett buildings, just as a 512 roof pitch, 2 by 12 headers, and 2 by 8 scissor trusses are. And those trusses are going to be rated for 170 miles per hour. Now, all of these trusses are third-party inspected. We have a team come in from out of state to make sure our trusses are inspected. They look at all the wood, everything we're doing to put our trusses together, the assembly process, the whole of the machinery, the wood itself. They're just checking for inconsistencies and things like that to make sure our quality is not only where we say it is, but it's consistent across the board. Now, moving along, we have the Mallett cable lock system. This is a wonderful system using 1/8 aircraft cable that links post to post, vertical, horizontal, diagonal, every post. It's going to look like this, boop, 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 all across underneath the concrete. The concrete, which is a 4,000 PSI concrete, is going to be poured on top of those cables, locking it into place, the cable lock system. That's going to help with uplift control. Say you have a malfunction in your building or a storm's just really beating down the door, quite literally, wind's going to rush in and want to act like a parachute in that building because it's going to be pulling that wind up. The updraft is going to be insane. Now, with the cable lock system, that's going to not only bolt and hold your building to the concrete and ground, but the wind's going to have to lift the weight of the building and the concrete slab, which likely is not going to happen. So that's why we love the Mallett cable lock system. Since we've been using this, we have yet to have a complaint of a lost Mallett building in a hurricane, and we're proud of that. So concrete goes under every post. It doesn't just go to the ground, it goes under every post. You're also going to get skirt board guards for ground protection. You're gonna get a 4-year workmanship warranty. Number one, ground treated, kiln dried, or MCA ground treated, kiln dried lumber. And we're gonna have in-house engineers that verify the designs and again, make sure the trusses are good as well. And this is a 30 by 30 by 12 with a 30 by 20 gable extension for $33,999. Now moving along, we got 2 more parts of the special this month for $44,999. You get everything I just mentioned, plus it's going to be a 30 by 50 by 12 building with a 30 by 24 gable extension. So a little bit bigger building, a little bit bigger extension. And moving along, same specs or same features, but much larger building. For $69,999, you can get a Mallett Classic at 40 by 60 by 12 with a 40 by 30 gable extension. Guys, that is adding 50% more available space that you can use onto that building. So amazing specials, amazing prices, and even better buildings because they are Mallett buildings. Speaking of Mallett buildings, or I should say, speaking of what is not a Mallett building, we have a new introduction to our series called the Rival Series. Now, what do I mean by not a Mallett building? Well, right here we say Mallett built, but it's not a Mallett building. What does that mean? That means we will build the building for you. But what is this building? This is what our competitors try to build. And I say try because even though we've come down on a lot of things for this building to get it to this price, we're still going to build it for you. And there's still some things that they can't necessarily do that we can. So that's why it's not Mallett. It's not a Mallett building. It's not our classic. Our classic is the baseline Mallett building. This is going to be a step under that for our more price-conscious shoppers. If price is just the hard ball that you have to get the nail on the head for, this might be the series for you, so be sure to give us a call. Because starting at $18,999, you can get a 30 by 30 by 12 building. Now, good looking building, I have to agree. Now, we're going to go over in a second what you don't get in the Rival series that you could get for just a little more in the Mallett Classic. But again, for our budget conscious shoppers, this is definitely something to look into. Now moving along for the Rival series, we have a 30 by 50 by 12 at $27,999. Again, not a Mallett building, but it is going to be built by Mallett, so you can guarantee your construction is going to be the best in the industry. Now, the next in the Rival series is a 40 by 60 by 12 for $39,999. Now, you may be wondering, that's the same price as the Classic special started off at. You're correct, the larger building, but I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Just stay with me, bear with me. But again, it's going to be built by Mallett, not a Mallett building, and we'll get to that in a second. But for now, we have a Mallett Ambassadors Club. For more information on this, which I promise it's coming soon, we will be getting with you and letting you know what needs to be done. A lot of you have probably already gotten a message or been reached out to about the Ambassador Club. That means you've either referred someone to us and or have a building from us. And for both of those things, we want to say thank you very much. We very much appreciate it. You are the lifeblood of Mallett, and without you, we wouldn't have been able to do what we're doing this whole time. So thank you very much for all that you do. We just want to appreciate you and show that appreciation with our Ambassador Club. More information on that soon. Should be out by the end of the year. Now, the 5 red flags. Always like to talk about this because these are very important things to consider. Years in business. Check how long the business has been around on the Secretary of State website. When you're considering someone to build your building, a lot of times there's going to be these newer guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has to start somewhere. But Mallett started 27 years ago. We've been through it. We've made our mess ups, we've had our ups, our downs, and we are just on the up and up right now, making sure everything we do is bigger, better, and more efficient than the day before. And that means you can guarantee that we have the top quality service because we've been around long enough to figure out what top quality service takes. So that being said, you can check how long their business has been around on the Secretary of State website, making sure they've been in business long enough to offer a warranty that has been around as long as they have. Licensure. Ensure the company you're considering doing business with is actually a licensed business. You can do this with the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors, the LSLBC for short. Yesterday we shared an unfortunate situation where an individual who was not a licensed contractor was going around trying to perform contractor duties. That's a stretch to say that because what he did was he posed as a contractor offering to do building or work for people, but he was not licensed, and what he was doing was taking their money and ran away. He has since been convicted and charged with contractor fraud. Now, terrible situation, not to make light of that, but we want to do things like this to make sure you are aware that this is something that can happen. So check the LSLBC to make sure anyone, not just Mallett, that you're considering is a licensed contractor. We know we're not going to be the choice for everybody, but make sure you pick a person that is going to take care of you and is going to legally get things done, and get things done at all in some cases. So licensure is huge. What else is huge is contractor violations, because those two go hand in hand. Usually when they're not licensed, they're going to have a lot of violations, because first off, being unlicensed is a violation in itself. So you can also check that at the LSLBC. Just consider that the company you're doing business with is free of contractor violations. I mentioned we've been around for 27 years here at Mallett. We have 0 contractor violations. Mr. Lee is actually on the board of contractors, so he is held to a higher standard. Everything he does is scrutinized even more than just a typical contractor, because he's part of the board that ensures those qualities and standards are held accountable for. So something to keep in mind when shopping around. We are part of that process, which means we're held to a higher standard and scrutinized just a little bit more. So reviews on BBB and Google. Don't just take a company at their word. See what the public has to say. We encourage everyone to check out reviews and the BBB and Google for us specifically, because that's where our reviews are. We have over 600. We're also A+ accredited for the BBB. That just goes to say we're in good standing with the Better Business Bureau, and the 600+ reviews, we understand not every single one's going to be happy, but I guarantee over 98% of them are incredibly happy customers. I was reading them the other day, grinning ear to ear, just happy to see I'm part of a business that takes such good care of their people. We all have any Black Friday deals? If we do, it's going to be a surprise. That's all I can say for that one. If we do, it'll be a surprise. I'll leave it at that, Mr. Adams. But moving right along, visit the contractors. Actually, no. Speaking of deals, you may have just been tuning in. Don't want to miss out on this. Let me come back to this for you. These are our specials for the month of November currently, what we have going on at the moment, just so I can make sure you've seen this if you're just tuning in. We have classic buildings starting at $33,999, $44,999, and $69,999. From 30 by 30 by 12 with a 30/20 gable, 30 by 50 by 12 with a 30 by 24 gable, and a 40 by 60 with a 40 by 30 gable. And it's going to come with a lot of these features I'm going to talk about here in just a moment. So if you stay tuned, give me 5 more minutes of your time, I promise I can help answer those questions and offer you the deal I do know we're going to have. If that's good for you, awesome. I hope that answers your question. But back to this reviews and moving along, the contractor's facility. See where your building's being prepped. See where all the materials are, the people working on them. Meet the crew, meet the sales team. Come meet Mr. Lee if you want. Everyone is here and available and willing to speak to you in person, shake hands, get to know you, build that relationship, and most importantly, let you see our amazing facility. We have this phenomenal truss plant that is, they've been doing some maintenance on it, so it's been a little bit quiet lately, which has been interesting here, not used to not hearing the sound of the truss plant. But if you've ever visited or driven past I-10, you've seen this other building going up next to us. That's going to be a future roll form plant where we're doing a lot of our metal work in-house as well. So taking steps every day to grow not only the business, but the facility to better serve our customers. Now, the rival series, why Mallett? Mr. Adams, this is also going to answer the remainder of that question of what goes into the specials. But the Mallett Classic, which is our entry-level building, and I say that lightly because it's not an entry-level building, it's just our entry-level building. Our Classic, as you're about to see, is better than what most people build as their best building. Now, the rival series is based on what a lot of people have been bringing to us from competitors, saying, look at what they're doing. And we've decided, hey, we can build that, but it's not going to have all the bells and whistles of a Mallett. But what it will have is 29 gauge metal, 4-on-12 roof pitch, 2x6 trusses, common flat trusses, 130 mile-an-hour wind rating, no uplift control, which is the Mallett cable lock system. Posts are going to go straight in the dirt, 2x8 headers, 3,000 PSI concrete, no ground protection, limited warranty, and number 2 untreated generic lumber. That's what most of our competitors are doing. And that's what it's going to be in the rival series to match those prices. Now, for just a little more, a Mallett Classic, which comes with 26 gauge metal standard, 5-on-12 roof pitch, 2x8 scissor trusses, third-party inspected trusses, 170-mile wind rating on those trusses, the Mallett cable lock system, which is that aircraft cable we talked about, concrete under every post for extra protection and to prevent sinking of the building, which I find important, 2x12 headers, 4,000 PSI concrete, which is 4 inches, not 3, skirt board guards, 4-year workmanship warranty, #1 MCA ground treated kiln dried lumber, and in-house engineering that designs are verified internally with them. So this is the difference in the basic Mallett building and the Rival Series, aka what other people try to build their best of. So these are our specials on the Classic I showed you, Mr. Adams. Hopefully, again, that answers your question. Rival Series, nails or screws? I'm gonna have to get an answer on that specifically, Mr. Tim. I know in-house all we carry is screws, so we'd have to buy some nails to make that happen. That's about what I do know. I'll get an answer for you on that soon. It's a fairly new series. I'm still learning all the ins and outs about it. But moving right along, the Classic compared to the Elite, guys, you've seen this a lot, but for those who aren't, I'll give you the quick rundown. The big differences between the roof and wall, the Classic and Elite, 26 gauge metal is standard, but we're gonna have Zach screws on the Elite building. 2x8 trusses at 5-foot spacing, they're gonna be 3-foot spacing on the Elite. 10-foot on center post spacing, 9-foot on the Elite. 4-inch slab with concrete under the post for the Classic. 6-inch 4,000 PSI microfiber reinforced slab with control joints on the Elite. So already you got some big improvements there. What else do we have here? Optional radiant barrier on the insulation. With the Elite, there's full roof and wall insulation included, which here in Louisiana or in the South, where weather changes 50 times a day from freezing cold to sweltering, whatever that is, hot, you want to make sure your house is insulated or your shop is insulated. And that's just a few of the features. Also, the main building is 145-mile-an-hour wind rated on the Elite building, which is amazing. Just a few differences in our buildings against themselves. So, on to the topic for today. Again, this was recommended by a customer asking a question. What was the name again? Mr. Wayne Frazier. If you're watching, Mr. Frazier, thank you so much for the topic. We enjoyed putting this together for you, and hopefully you find it interesting, and hopefully someone else can get something from this as well.
Page to submit their zip code. On our website, they can go on the permitting page to submit their zip code.
Oh, so on our website, on the permitting page, there's a section you can submit your zip code, and if you do that, that'll come straight to us, and we can start putting this in the chat or in the conversation. And also, if you're here now and want information, go ahead and put your zip code in the chat. Give me some information on where you're at, where you're looking to build, and we can make a live specifically for you next Tuesday. So with that being said, let's move right along to planning an accessory building in Maurice, Louisiana, zip code 70555. What do you need to know about the permitting process? We got a good one for you today. So why Maurice is different? 70555 covers 2 jurisdictions. Inside the village, it's considered a village. I came from a town kind of like that. It was very small, called Grand Lake. But inside the village of Maurice city limits is covered in the unincorporated Vermilion Parish. Each has slightly different permitting rules, so knowing your jurisdiction avoids delays. This applies to many areas. Knowing which area you are under definitely prevents delays, because you're going to have to follow a different set of codes, whether it just be 1 or 2 steps different. You want to make sure you're on the right page with your permitting office. So this information like this is very important. So the first step, identify your location, as we were just talking about. How to confirm where your property falls. Check your property tax bill, look up the parcel map, or you can ask us and we can point you in the right direction. So correct jurisdiction equals correct permitting office. As we were just saying, it prevents delays, prevents extra cost and all of that. But these are some things you can do to begin to check the process of where am I located. Now, Vermilion Parish requirements are the most common requirements. Most 70555 customers fall under the Vermilion Parish Police Jury. So if you're in that area, these are some things you're going to need. Stamped engineered plans, wind load specs, foundation anchoring details, and truss engineering. These are mandatory for post frame and metal buildings, and when you work with us here at Mallett, we will help provide this for you. So, this is going to be most common in the Vermilion Parish areas. The parish setbacks and site plan. Here's the required setbacks for these areas. 25 foot from the road right of way, 5 foot from side property lines, and 15 foot from the rear property line. So make sure when you're planning your building, you have this in perspective, that you're 25 foot from the front of the road, you're 15 foot from the rear of the property line, and you're no less than 5 foot from the sides of the property line, go where I assume your neighbors are going to be. So be sure you understand these setbacks when you consider planning the size and location of your building. So I'll post today on a barn down ground. Oh wow. So Mr. Tim just said that he saw a post today in a barndominium group that had some very insufficient ground prep. Nothing under the post. The building was up and the post had already sunk 2 inches in the ground. The post didn't like the advice from the group and took it down. A lot of people don't want to hear they did things wrong. It's unfortunate that they don't take the time to prep beforehand. And like we talked about, Mr. Darrell yesterday actually talked about the importance of prepping beforehand to save costs. If you missed that episode, I highly recommend checking it out. He's getting funnier. Every week he's getting funnier. He made me actually laugh yesterday, so we're making progress. But back to today in Maurice, your site plans must also show lot dimensions, building location, existing structures, and driveways, utilities, and easements. These are all going to be important for your specific build in this area. If you have any questions on setbacks or site plans, please let us know. Our designers and engineers will be happy to help you get that squared away. Now, flood zone requirements. If your land is in a flood zone, these are some things you will need to know. Your preliminary elevation certificate is required. Engineered foundation plans may be needed, and the final elevation certificate before occupancy. It's weird. Engineered foundation plans needed. Not sure of your zone, we can help you check early. So if you need help into looking into your flood zones, let us know. We have ways to do that. If you have LSU flood maps online is a phenomenal source for anything in the Louisiana area. If you don't understand how that works, there's also FEMA flood maps. Or if you're like me and just want someone to tell you what it is, we can help you here at Mallett as well. Hit the mute button. Why? Anywho, this is the flood zone requirements for the Maurice area if your land is in a flood zone. Now, inside the Maurice city limits is going to be a little bit different, as we mentioned. City limit properties may need the following: permit through the Village of Maurice City Hall, zoning compliance check, site layout review, and approval before construction. City requirements differ from parish, so check early. What works in one area and what works in another area may not be the same thing that work. Just because Cousin Joe over here down the road did something, he may be in a different zone. Just because mom and dad did it here doesn't mean it's the same. Even if it's the same area, 10, 15 years, codes change, things are always updating. So be sure you are at the most up-to-date area possible with your codes and you understand the things that you need moving forward. Again, that prevents delays and costly mistakes. So don't forget utilities, because you don't want to place your house somewhere and not know how you're going to get your water and electrical there. I've worked with enough people in my real estate journey. This is a big issue. I never thought this would be an issue, people not realizing their utilities. They place a home 100 feet back from the road. Well, that's 100 feet of cables you have to run. That's 100 feet of pipe you have to run. That's 100 feet of everything you have to run. So consider that before you finalize your site plan. Trust me on that one. You want to take a look at what that's going to cost. But before the concrete is scheduled, finalize electrical plans, water, plumbing, and wastewater connections. If any of this is going into your shop, you want to make sure. Oh, he's saying I had hit the button on here. I got you now. Anywho, utility plans affect the following. It can affect your slab design, conduits and plumbing routes, and inspection timing. Like I said, it could also affect your bottom dollar if you're having to adjust for further back plans, if you're set further back than you thought you would be. So all these things tie together to make a final decision that affects your price and timeline. Two things that we're never happy when they are messed with, but these can help prevent those issues. Now, inspections you'll be responsible for in Vermilion Parish uses contracted inspectors. You must schedule the required inspections, keep the permit documents on site, and ensure the building placement matches the approved site plan. If you say the building is going to go here, you have to put the building here. You can't just say it's going to go here, change your mind, and put it here. They're going to have an issue with that, and they're probably going to have you tear the building down and start over in the approved spot, maybe even a fine. And none of that stuff is fun. So if it's going to go here, put the building here. That's why it's approved. We'll guide you, but inspectors must be coordinated by the owner or contractor of record. There's only so much we can do. The parish is going to require the home or the location owner, the building owner, to do a lot of the work. There's just some things that you have to do on your own, but you're not on your own. Here at Mallett, we are here to help. If you have any questions along the way, please let us know. Your building specialist and the rest of the team will be more than happy to either find the information or give you the information. I'm sure someone has it. So, preparing for a smooth Mallett build. What to do before delivery and framing. This is a good checklist. If you're taking notes, write this down, as they say. What to do before delivery and framing? Pull your permit early. Have your site plan ready. Confirm setbacks and lot lines. Verify your flood zone. Finalize utilities before the concrete, and keep the permit posted on site. By accomplishing all of these, you can accomplish a smooth process for your Mallett build. And again, at any point in the way, we are here to help. Just let us know. We're more than happy to make sure this process is as smooth and stress-free as possible. Well, that's going to be our show for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any requests on locations or topics for the live, please let us know in the comments, and we'll be sure to look into that and create a live for you. Again, this was a special request, and we had a lot of fun making this video. Hopefully, sir, you had learned a little bit about the permitting and things to do in the Maurice 70555 area. I know I did. So if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with a friend. You never know who might need the information. I'm Tyler, this is Mallett Live, and we'll see you tomorrow.